Hi, everybody. It's your old pal Chuck, and once again, I am very excited to bring you this fantastic Transformers review. At the tail end of 2014, these figures just started hitting internationally, and they're slowly trickling here over the seas. The Combiner Wars are upon us, and today we are going to be looking at the Wave 1 of the Legion class figures. Starting us off is an old friend of ours that should be familiar to many of you, Thundercracker. Obviously, this is a repaint of the Starscream and Acid Acid Rain, Acid Storm, but that mold. And it's fantastic. I'm going to say I'm a little biased because I like this shade of blue. And let me just say this now, and I'm going to repeat it again. The paint is fantastic. And if you've watched any of my reviews, you know I really don't go off on the paint that much. But it's this fantastic metallic shade of paint. There's a little bit of marbleization. Not the same as Robots in Disguise Steel Jaw, but it's just wonderful. And the joints were nice and tight on this. It's just a great figure, a great update to that classic look. Personally, I think the Legend Scale Seekers are better than the deluxe ones we got because of their arms. The null rays don't hit the wings. But it's the same vehicle mode, just a different color. Really great, nice look. So we're just going to pause here, and here we are in robot mode. Again, the paint is just wonderful. You have this great metallic silver here around the chest. Let me really show it off here. I mean, this is really close to almost a chrome style of the robot. I do like that the weapons are molded in black, so you don't have the issue with Starscream where it was molded in one color then painted. And all in all, it's just a great robot mode. 2 points I do want to mention. As I said, the joints are a little tight on mine. If they're tight on yours, you do have a few double hinges. Um, Take my advice, as we do with all times. Push on the hinge, not on the part. If by pulling or pushing on the part, you might risk snapping something or stressing a pin. Especially down here with these flaps, you just want to, you're flipping them around, push down towards the joint because they are rubber. But other than that, this is really fantastic. Now, there is something I do want to mention also. As I'm sure you've seen if you're watching this, there have been some photos showing of, oh, excuse me, Thundercracker in a chest plate mode of sorts attached to Ultra Prime. In the instructions, there are no steps to transform it to that plate mode. Having looked at this figure in hand, I see no modifications to the mold whatsoever that would allow for that transformation. Also, fellow reviewer Piog tried to pull off the chess mode with his Legend Starscream and ended up stressing the hand here so badly that the plastic basically broke and almost this front part of the hand broke off because the pegs on Ultra Prime's chest are just a little bit bigger than 5 millimeters. I do believe that that was a fan mode and is not an official part of the Combiner Wars. Now, moving on to one of the new molds in this wave, Bombshell. I just love the irony that at this recording on December 17th, 2014, images are coming from the Philippines of a Platinum Edition set of the original Insecticons, or at least from what we know now, the original Insecticons. And here is Bombshell. Right off the bat, I do want to mention, for those of you looking to pair him with Shrapnel, much like on Thundercracker, this purple is a more richer, um, metallic purple that's not going to match as well. I mean, the paint on this is just fantastic. This is almost masterpiece quality paint on this figure. I just really can't get over it, just how wonderful it is. Um, it is a great likeness to Bombshell. I just, this is wonderful. Also, I do want to mention again, like I did with Thundercracker, there was a fan mode created of him with Ultra Prime. The instructions make no mention of it. There's no joints that are there that aren't used for either robot or Beetle mode. Um, no way to swivel anything. So again, it's a fan mode, and you need to be careful. Now we're going to go into the transformation. Starting us off, you just want to grab the head like so, and you're going to flip it forward to cover the face, just like the original transformation. Then go ahead and straighten out the horn. Make sure the arms are in a neutral position. What you want to go ahead and do, and unfortunately the instructions really don't point this out that well, the insect legs here are on a double joint, but they move in unison if you press on that middle section. So you just want to make sure you go ahead and swing these out all the way so the insect legs are fully basically pressing up against the robot legs. And then while you're behind here, there's a tab here and a slot here. Now you want to go ahead and, you might think you want to push, but really what you want to do is just come in and, using the ball joints, go ahead and just slide it together one on top of another. Once that's done, you're just going to go ahead and flip up the legs into the body just like so. Take the arms and just basically rotate the arms forward and out like that, like they're splayed out. Go ahead, rotate the figure at the waist, and basically all you're going to do now is come in and rotate the arms in and around like so. There's a double hinge here, and then there's two tabs, and the arms are going to peg together quite nicely. You just want to, which one's on top, which one's on the bottom. Yeah, it's small parts, big hands, kind of an issue, but there you go. There we go. And then while you're holding it, go ahead and rotate out the front legs for the Beetle. Make sure everything is copacetic, and you can just go ahead and adjust it at will to make sure the legs are down flat, and there you go. Oh, you know what? The arms are a little off center. This is actually one of the problems with when you have multiple ball joints in succession, that they all work against each other, and then cause the limbs to not line up properly. I think a universal joint in the shoulders might have worked a little bit better, but regardless, here you have Bombshell in his Beetle mode. This is a fantastic Kabuto. This is a great update to the G1 Insecticon. I'll say it right now, these are far better than the Fans Project ones. Yes, they're smaller, but it's insects. Come on. So yeah, that's Bombshell. Let's move on and take a look at Windcharger. Windcharger's an interesting choice for this mold. It was first released late in 2014 as part of the Thrilling 30 Target Master Legends as a tailgate. Now, if you know the history of Transformers, Windcharger was the original use of the mold. Tailgate was the repaint retool of the figure. Here, it's reversed, where Windcharger is the repaint retool. Now, there has been some discussion as to, did we really need another Legends class Windcharger after we had the Scout Windcharger from Hunt for the Decepticons? Now, I do want to mention that figure at first was hard to find, but due to the fact that it was a late wave release, but eventually it did show up in various dollar and discount stores, and should be easy to find on the secondary market. but I'll say it right now, don't pay more than $20. Much like Thundercracker and Bombshell, the paint on this is just phenomenal. You have this nice metallic red with a slight marbleization. This is just wonderful. The car rolls very nicely. It's just a fun-looking figure. I think the joints are a little bit better than Tailgate, which we're going to look at in robot mode. Here's Windcharger in his robot mode. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm just not a fan of this mold. I think it works a little better as Windcharger. I do really like that new head. But it just looks very lanky and not. It's robotic, but it's very small. And I think the legs should have been a little thicker. If there was a way to bring these panels down, I think that might have worked a little bit better. And you have these giant shoulder pads, and getting the hands out from the door mode, it's a I'm always afraid I'm going to break a tab or something. I mean, it's a nice figure, but basically, if you can get the original Scout class Windcharger for under $20, get that. If not, go ahead and pick this figure up for about $10, and really, that's about what it's worth. I've gone ahead and saved what I think is the best figure of this wave for last, with an asterisk, which we'll get to in a moment. But it's Legends Class Power Glide. Really, my only version of a newer Power Glide was the Darker the Moon Cyberverse Commander, which this is, I think, around the same size, but it was a different transformation done in a more movie aesthetic. The only other update to Power Glide was the Ultra Class figure from the Classics 2.0 line, which I never got because the proper red color scheme was only done as a Walmart exclusive, which I could never find online for a reasonable price. This is a really nice figure. Obviously, if you're familiar with some of the third-party designs, yes, I think this borrows some cues from it, but also it is a very nice update to the original G1 figure. The head is fairly spot on, and you do have this nice maroon paint, though not as metallic as on its wave mates. Some people have complained about the no real hands, but that's very close to the original G1 aesthetic. Coming around, it is, the same kind of figure. We are going to get to an issue in transformation, which we might as well start with right now. And starting us off, what you want to go ahead and do is grab the head and rotate it around, just like so, until it's flush against the nose cone, and then you just want to pop it out. It's on these, there's these little slider joints that will, once you pull up the nose cone, you can just go ahead and slide it back into place, just like that. Make sure that little butt flap is down. You can go ahead and try to peg things into there. We'll get to that in a moment. I do want to mention, though, the ball joints on the hips and knees are a little loose, but there's something I want to say about that. Go ahead, collapse the arms, much like the G1 toy, and go ahead and pop them in to the sides here, just like so. Then go ahead, bring the wings down, rotate them around, and they will peg into posts right on the opposite side of this waist joint, just like so. I don't know if this is an issue from packaging, but there is a very nice curve to the wings. I don't know if that's accurate for the vehicle mode. Coming around, now we're going to focus on the back and the legs. First, what you want to do is go ahead, flip the feet up, and the reason why you want to do that first, now it comes for the tough part, and that's basically pegging slotting the legs together. And if you notice, I'm having a dickens of a time because these ball joints don't line up properly, and it's an issue where you know, it's if one thing is even just slightly out of alignment, it affects everything else. And this is why, in general, I don't like using that many ball joints in a figure. I think it makes it very difficult on transformation, um, and it's just really annoying. Oh, there, I finally got it. But you can see it's fairly lined up solid and like that. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say the boosters look a little off center, but that's probably due, again, to the ball joints. I know a lot of fans like the modern use of ball joints, but when you have issues like this where it affects transformation, it's just not fun. Let's pause here, and I'll show you its third mode, which is a gun for Superion. Okay, starting us off for the gun mode, you just want to come in behind, flip down those tail fins, and then go ahead and slide these thrusters back. You can actually slide them all the way that they fall off. I really don't know why you would want to do that, but basically the instructions show you want a little bit of those uh, the bars here showing. So that's about that. Come in, unpeg these wings, rotate them up like you're going into robot mode. Go ahead, peg them back into was the robot shoulders. Turn it around like so, and then flip up this middle piece right here, which will be like a targeting sight. And probably after that, the hips will come undone again. So you just want to spend like 3 hours of your life trying to readjust them, because hey, God forbid anything works right. Okay, oh, there we go, we got it. Oh, that didn't take that long. But this is Power Glide in his weapon mode. Uh, it looks all right, kind of like a nice looking cannon. Obviously, yeah, I am noticing it does look off center, and I think a lot of that has to do with the issues with the ball jointed hips. As I mentioned, Power Glide can be used as a gun for Superion. Actually, Superion is basically the only one who can hold him, because when I tried using him with the deluxe figures, the weight of Power Glide would cause their elbows to bend straight down. Again, I did take some time to try and finagle the gun into a bit better of a position. By the way, in interest of full disclosure, I don't have Superion. I just have the limbs. I also do want to mention something else. If you notice, this is how the instructions show you to transform for the arm mode. As we've seen in many pictures, um, the the waist and hips can rotate around to give you an elbow joint, which I think is fantastic, except for the fact that on mine, it collapses under the weight of Power Glide. I don't have Silverbolt, so I can't show the combined weapon mode with the giant Superion blaster, but hopefully the other arm bot is stronger. But I am concerned that this is not just an isolated case, and Power Glide is just too heavy to be used by Superion as a functional weapon with the arms positioned as an elbow joint. And here's all the figures in Wave 1. Issues with the ball joints and the legs aside, which I hope is just an isolated case, I highly recommend Power Glide and think it's the best figure of Wave 1. Strong second would have to be Bombshell. Again, also because it's a new mold. Thundercracker and Windcharger, if the aesthetics please you, definitely go ahead and pick them up. But there's no real reason to rush out and grab those two. Especially now with the instructions in hand, knowing that these really aren't meant to be add-on chest parts for Ultra Prime or anything of that nature. This is your old pal Chuck for Powerglide, Bombshell, Thundercracker, and Windcharger. We'll see you next time.